This is Comic Geek Speak, special Fantastic Four movie edition. Welcome to the Fantastic Four movie edition of Comic Geek Speak. I'm Brian Deemer.
And I'm Tasha Deemer.
Matt.
I'm Shane Kelly.
I'm Jamie D.
And I don't have any fancy sound effects for Fantastic Four, so...
It's clobbering time.
Fantastic
there you go.
Four.
All right, we just, the five of us just got back from seeing FF, literally like 15 minutes ago. And, well, I'll start off and I'll say I loved it.
I loved it. I was reading some board member friends. I don't know why they didn't like it. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I went into it expecting crap.
Yeah.
And I came out enjoying it. I mean, I'm a huge Fantastic Four fan, so for me to say that with some of the liberties they took with everything is saying something. I enjoyed it. I thought the chemistry between the main characters was great. Doom, yeah, you're going to have trouble with that if you're a huge Doom fan like I am, but even that wasn't enough to make me give this a bad review. I enjoyed it too.
Yeah, I'm with you on the same things.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting much. When I first heard about the movie, I thought, "Oh, this is gonna be great! It's gonna be great! It's gonna be great!" And then I started seeing some previews and went, "I don't know." And then I heard reviews and went, "Oh crap!" And then I saw it and I went, oh, "That's great."
Especially the previews. Oh, some of those were horrible.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, if you're a new listener, this will have lots and lots of spoilers in it, whatever we talk about. So if you haven't seen it, wait until you have seen it.
How about the non-comic fan among us? What did she think?
Tasha?
I'm a comic fan.
Well, I mean, not the non-geek,
obsessed
super geek,
as you are.
uber geek.
Obsessive compulsive.
No, I
comic
thought
fan.
it was very enjoyable. I liked it very much.
Ask the question that you asked me in the car.
I don't remember what question I asked you in the car.
Concerning Dr. Doom.
What was he really part of their transformation? Like when was he there?
No.
I didn't think so.
No, in the Ultimate universe, he
Jim,
was.
And Jim
okay.
Lee's.
Yeah, and I guess in the Heroes Reborn, they had him as part of the experiment. But no, he was just an evil. Well, the origin they gave him was he was a college colleague of Reed's, and he had an experiment that he was doing, and Reed tried to tell him, no, this wasn't right. Tried to, say you missed a number here in your calculation. Von Doom told him, take a hike. He went through the experiment. Boom, he blows up, and from then on, he blamed Reed for what happened to him. He was like horribly scarred. He eventually went and found these monks in Tibet or Budapest or wherever he was. They gave him the armor, and then he became their arch nemesis. I mean, when they first met him, he was just an evil guy, but that was basically his origin. He was a colleague of Reed's, and he went from there. But the way they handled him in this, I liked it. I mean, the actors I thought were great. The one thing I thought was kind of funny, I was when you first see him, I had a little bit of trouble because I'm a huge S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, and seeing Michael Chiklis as Ben Grimm, I was like, no, that's Vic Mackey.
Right.
But then as he got into the character and the interplay between he and Johnny,
That was great.
it was fantastic. Not to, I'm going to say fantastic a lot, but not to, no pun intended.
I gotta tell you, not reading a lot of the Fantastic Four, I kind of like this interpretation of Doom, the extent of why he wanted revenge against the Four, as opposed to what apparently the comics, just because it seems they pretty much ruined him more than just, Reed told me I'm not going to be successful at this experiment, and it went haywire this way. It's, like his whole life was kind of destroyed. He had the looks, he had the money, and now it's kind of, because of this, taking a chance with Reed, he lost it all. But I agree. It was hard with the thing about Michael Chiklis as well. But I thought he made an excellent. That was one of the best castings.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I thought Johnny was good.
Yeah, and Johnny was really good. I've never seen that guy in
No.
anything that I can remember, but he was really good.
That's the beauty of it.
I've seen his face somewhere, but I don't remember if he was in.
Probably an underwear ad.
I think it was the June 2003 edition of Playgirl.
Yeah.
No.
Well, even I can't remember the guy that played Doom, but
Yeah.
I know he's on Nip Tuck, but that
Mhm.
just seems like it almost seemed like the same character, like kind of the pretty boy type of thing. So
Oh yeah, same on Charmed. He's evil in everything I've ever seen him in. He plays a baddie.
I gotta admit that I totally had a geek out moment, and I completely got chills when Johnny Storm jumped off the building
Yeah.
and then yelled "Flame on" and turned into the torch. It was
Mhm.
involuntary. I had seen it in the preview, but it wasn't quite the same in the context, and my whole body started tingling. I'm like, oh yeah, because the Human Torch is one of my favorite characters in like comic books. Period.
Mhm.
I was loving it.
Yeah.
Well-
I had a chill when they all came together that first time and they're answering questions and stuff. I had a little bit of a chill go through then.
yeah, I had a feeling too when the Invisible Girl phased out, came back in just her bra and underwear, but that was a different
Yeah,
kind
that
of.
was a
I
different
definitely
kind of
had
show.
Different kind of
that
tingle.
too. Yeah.
Yes.
But well, in the comic, how did they get their names? Is it just all of a sudden they have them? Or it's
Yeah,
like
it
the
was,
media
it was just kind
gave
of a
it to 'em?
code. Yeah, the media kind of gave them all code names.
Did it happen that fast that all of a sudden, boom, like within first time Fantastic Four? Okay, there you go.
It was when they first appeared, they fought another bad guy. That was
Mole Man,
The
wasn't
Mole
It was
Man.
Mole Man. Yeah. So, the Mole Man attacks New York City. They react, and boom, they're the Fantastic Four. But yeah, it was pretty much.
Wow.
Reed had they had the Baxter Building. That was all really cool. One geek moment for me was when
Stanley.
well, Stan Lee as Willie Lumpkin. I mean, that's perfect casting. But no, when they say, they say, well, where's the thing going? And they say he's going home. I was like, oh, please show it, please show it. Sure enough, there it was, Yancey Street.
I was looking, I didn't see it.
There was, because I was like really looking. They showed it like 3 times. The street sign was right at her house. And
Oh,
it said-
I was looking at the window, not
Mhm.
at her house. Damn it!
Yeah, it said Yancey Street
go
on
back.
it. So
Yeah.
that was a nice little geek moment for me. That unstable molecules for the
Right.
for
Yeah.
the suits, and of course, like Brian just said, Willie Lumpkin as Stan Lee as Willie Lumpkin was great casting.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
just
was cool.
a lot of good stuff.
I enjoyed all of Johnny's little parts. He was hilarious to watch. He was great.
Yeah, and I mean, as always with always the first superhero movie, I'm anxious for part 2 because we won't have as much origin and we'll get right to the action, and that's cool.
Yeah, and there's stuff they can do. I mean, there's powers that Sue has now that she didn't know how to use and things
When
like
she
that.
figures out how to float and all that kind of stuff, that'll be.
Yeah.
Now, there's one thing that it kind of bugs me about. It's an inconsistency in the Marvel Universe, in my opinion, and it's in the comics as well as the movie. And, okay, so the Fantastic Four is out there for 5 minutes. At first, everyone's freaked out by the Thing. Then he pulls the fire truck off. Now he's a hero. Okay, now they're all heroes. But, the X-Men get because they're mutants, even though, to me, the Fantastic Four has mutated.
Yeah.
Their DNA has
Yeah.
mutated. That makes them mutants.
It just wasn't born
That
with it.
means, but for some reason, and Spider-Man is a mutant,
Mhm.
and Daredevil is a mutant, but somehow no one's afraid of them. They all love those guys, but they're afraid of only the X-Men. And it really stuck in my head when I saw that scene in the bridge, and they all start clapping. They're like, "Yeah, they're heroes." 5 seconds after we were scared of them, but if Colossus walked in and pulled the fire truck off, they'd still be trying to shoot him.
Yeah.
And it's like this is.
It's because of his accent, I believe.
Well, yeah, they hate the Ruskies, but I don't know, like that kind of bugs me.
The
and
commie bastards.
It's not the movie director's fault or anything. I mean, I'm just like a Marvel,
Yeah.
I'm getting
Well,
sidetracked by the Marvel universe.
Yeah, I
but-
mean, then why is Spider-Man always a bad guy? That's because the media paints him as a bad guy. They always had the Daily Bugle was saying he was a menace, friend or foe.
but
all
people like the citizens still liked him though, for
that.
the most part.
Some of them do. I mean, they still had those ones. They're still if he's a menace, stop him, all that kind of stuff.
I think way more than the X-Men, though. I mean, I
yeah,
don't
but
think
that's
very.
I mean that's the way they set
handful
the
like the
world up
X-Men.
for the X-Men. So.
Yeah.
Well, you fear what you don't understand.
Right, but it's just silly because they're
Yeah,
all
you're right.
mutants.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things I kind of noticed is if you think of this, just goes beyond Fantastic Four, but if you think about the arch nemesis, or what are considered for the heroes, they never really appeared in the very first issue. like Lex Luthor, how long before he appeared in Superman? The same with Doctor Doom. I mean, if you think Fantastic Four arch nemesis, Doom pops in your head.
Yeah.
Well, how many issues before he appeared? Same with
Yeah,
the
it was
Joker
4.
for Batman and Spider-Man. I mean, if you consider Green Goblin as his epitome,
Right.
how many issues? So I find it interesting that right away, the first couple you didn't really see their definitive villain until later.
Yeah.
I did. Go ahead.
That goes literary too. I mean, you think of Sherlock Holmes' definitive villain as Professor Moriarty. Moriarty only ever actually appeared in like 2 stories.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I've read a lot of Sherlock Holmes, and I have no idea who Professor Moriarty is. I mean, I know of him because I've heard of him, but I never read a Sherlock Holmes story with him in it.
It was Reichenbach Falls, which was supposed to be the last story of the whole Sherlock Holmes, but then when he killed him off, the public got so angry with him that he finally brought him back. But it was, Reichenbach Falls, and then afterwards you kind of get hints that he also survived Reichenbach Falls, and but really that's all he was ever in. Yet he is the penultimate bad guy for Sherlock Holmes.
Just read the League.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What'd you say?
Just read the League.
Of course, that's a spoiler for another time. But
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm just limiting it to the League.
That's funny. I thought he was in much more Sherlock Holmes stories than
No,
that.
no, he really wasn't. Sherlock
Wow.
Holmes went from case to case. We're off on a tangent now, but but no, he wasn't. So yeah, I agree. It's when you think of penultimate bad guys.
Wait,
for a lot of these
penultimate
guys.
means second to the ultimate.
Okay.
So ultimate.
Okay. Ultimate bad
Okay.
guys. Yes.
Epitome.
Penultimate is a
Arch
cooler
nemesis.
I
sounding
wanted to
word.
sound so cool.
But ultimate is the last, and penultimate is the second to last. So it's kind of doesn't.
Well, what'd you guys? Because I know it seems costumes seem to be a big thing in the comic movies. What did you guys think of how they altered the Fantastic Four costumes, where they're not tights? The F. I mean, not the F. The 4 is off to the side. I mean, does that?
I didn't mind.
They rarely bother me, but
I didn't mind it as much as other costumes. The only thing, I thought the gloves were a little bit long, like almost up to their elbows, like down
Yeah.
at their wrist or mid arm would have been all right. But
I
liked it.
loved the kind of fabric. It's the same Spider-Man fabric
Yeah,
they use,
yeah.
and that's cool. That looks better than spandex, of course. But I mean, it does. It's like it's such a small thing. Why can't there just be a white F in the middle? Like, does
Yeah.
it really look so bad? Does the
wait,
little
like
stylish
four.
4 in the side look better?
yeah,
No. I mean, it's like, I mean, it's the movie was awesome with or without the white 4 in the middle of the chest. But it's one of those things. It's like it's just as easy to do it the right way as
Yeah.
it is to do it the wrong way. So why don't you just do it the right way?
but now this looked more natural to me than Daredevil's DD in the upper left hand corner of his outfit as well.
Yeah.
did you notice Ben's at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the
Kinda
pants.
outside.
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
always thought he wore shorts, not pants. I always
think
thought
he
he
wore,
wore
like, underwear.
boxer shorts.
Yeah, I think it goes back and forth. I've seen. I
Because then
think
he
I've
also
seen
have
pictures.
like a full chest thing.
Yeah,
almost
like a
a
bodysuit.
swimsuit.
Yeah, he has that sometimes.
Yeah, he's had various costumes, and they've gone from shorts to long pants, depending on who's drawing them. Really, that's
Yeah.
what they put in.
Depending on how much brick they want to draw, or how much stone.
Because really, they use more shorts for the Hulk.
Right.
They're
They're cutoffs, Jamie. They're all torn.
They're jorts, I believe.
culottes.
They're jams.
Clam diggers.
What do you think of, from my interpretation of different eras in the Fantastic Four, it seems like the Thing, sometimes he's like in the movie where it's just normal size, other times he's like monstrous like the Hulk is. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see him just a little bit bigger. I thought that's where he should be. He should be more mountainous. And they could have done it easily. I mean, they've done so much with forced perspective as far as like the Lord of the Rings movies go and the
with
Harry
the
Potter
doors and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harry Potter movies go. But I really didn't have a problem with it. I thought I might, but he was good. The fight scenes he was in were I thought well done.
The sound effects of him walking were very well placed.
Yeah, it was the kind of the crunching of the stones as
Yeah.
he did that.
Now, I'm going to be a little nitpicky though. Once Doom put his mask on, I thought he should have a different touch to his voice. It sounded like he wasn't in that costume then.
Well, yeah, I was waiting for a more sinister instead of just his regular
inside something.
Pretty boy
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah, I was waiting for this Doom, menacing
metallic?
voice or something.
Yeah, even more. Yeah, but that's one little, and it's nitpicky, but that did kind of bug me a
I was
little
kind
bit.
of wondering what happened to the Thing's fourth finger. He went down
to 4
to 3 fingers
and a thumb. Yeah.
from the.
I just think.
I guess when he rocked out, 2 of them just merged.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, well, that's so he can give a bigger FU.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I was expecting that actually in the one scene. I thought he was going to flip.
I was waiting for a cigar.
Flip Johnny off.
Well,
he
they're
said
not
he
going to show a
smoked.
cigar now.
I know,
You
but
can't.
Plus,
still.
plus the,
Well, he used to
the
smoke.
politically correct Marvel universe won't put a
No,
won't
so he's
put a
not
smoker. in.
smoking anymore. In the
No,
comics?
they won't. Well, actually, I think they.
They did just make that statue.
Yeah, there was something where cigars or cigarettes have come back, but
Well, they showed
while,
something
they-
recent. They had Wolverine doing it, but he said because of his healing factor, he can't get cancer.
yeah, I
Like
think
they made
that's what it
every
said.
time you see him in the book,
Yeah,
he
he's
explains
got it.
that because of his healing. Which, for me, I like that because I'm a real anti-smoker. Like I just think it should be illegal because it harms too many people, whether you want to do it or not.
Yeah.
It's just totally I'm opposed to it. So I'm very happy that they don't show it anymore because I think it's irresponsible because kids will associate it with being cool. And even though they explain Wolverine's healing factor, I still think they shouldn't show it because you know what? I'm an adult and I can say yes or no, but a 12-year-old kid reading, Fantastic Four or X-Men should not be thinking in the back of his mind that smoking is cool because it's not fucking cool.
Wait, not to play devil's advocate, but what about when? I mean, Wolverine's notorious for throwing back a couple beers too. I mean, is that something that you think? I'm not gonna.
Well, I mean,
my liver?
personally, I don't drink, but that doesn't. But
because
if
you gotta
you
make
drink,
kids go.
if you drink a beer or two, it doesn't kill me. If you
Okay.
smoke a cigarette or two, and I'm standing next to you, I inhale secondhand smoke, and that goes towards me
So
getting
as long as it
cancer. It
doesn't
goes towards
affect
me
you,
getting
it
heart
doesn't matter.
disease. Well, true.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm serious. If my neighbor smokes and I have my windows open in the springtime, I have to close my windows because his ass is putting smoke in my house that's killing me. And that is why I think it should be illegal. But, a few beers here or there, while I personally might not drink, it doesn't have to be harmful if you use it in moderation. But smoking one puff is working towards killing you. So,
But there again, on
there's my preaching for the day. If
on-
any of our listeners smoke, stop it, damn it, stop it.
on another
We
note
will
of
hunt
that,
you down.
when I read comics and saw people smoke, and my mom smoked her whole life, and I've tried to get her to stop, and she does for a little bit. But when I read comics and stuff, I don't associate it. I never did. Even as a kid, I didn't. It just never occurred to me that was cool. I know people do, but I just never did.
Right. I mean, it wasn't ever their intention probably, but that's the intention of advertisers when they show cool people smoking. It's to get you to think it's cool. So,
I gotta tell you, I had a problem where I thought it was cool to fly like Superman, and after the 3rd time, I fell off the roof of my house, and I realized that I couldn't. Then I was like, I gotta stop reading Superman.
That's what happened.
Yeah, it's just
that
not
explains
that
a
cool.
hell of a lot.
That's why I went with Batman, no powers.
No.
Yeah. Well, and I was very pleased that they included Latveria.
Yes,
And
yes.
setting up at the end when the ship sails away. When they were pulling out the zoom, I thought that boat better say Latveria, and then it did. And I was like, all right, thank goodness.
I like they had Alicia in it.
Yes,
That
that
was
was a
nice.
good touch.
Yeah, it was all right. I just
A little forced.
Well, not a little forced. I just get tired of when they bring new things in and I'm going to sound bigoted when I say this. And
She's
I'm not,
black and not white.
I was going to say, and I'm not. Believe me, there's not a bigoted bone in my body. But why when they make it new, does it either have to be a different nationality or female? Or like a male to a female or something like that. But, Alicia was black. I had no problems with the fact that she was black, but why not just let her
Be
who she
white.
was?
Right.
Who she was in the comics.
That was my biggest problem with Daredevil. I love Michael Clark Duncan, but damn it, the Kingpin is a big fat bald white guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a strong black guy. He's a big fat. I mean, he's strong, but he's a big fat white guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Daredevil, he just wasn't. I mean, he's not black. End of. Like, why would you even look at casting him? Read any freaking issue of Daredevil, and you'll see that the Kingpin's white. And he's a major player. Like, Alicia is such a minor character in the Marvel Universe that, again, I agree with Jamie. Why change it? But if you're going to change anyone, I can live with that. But you don't change the Kingpin. I mean, it's just so ridiculous, because there's so many visual elements in the comic. His impending size and all that
And always in
size.
in a white suit, and Michael Clark Duncan, not one single white suit.
Yeah, that's just a little irritating. But
Did Reed get the white stripes as a result of the accident?
Well, I don't know if it was a result of the
yeah, I
accident.
can't remember.
he always kind of was prematurely gray in the comics.
They couldn't relate.
And that was always because actually he was always older in the
Yeah.
books. He was always supposed to be so much older than Sue and everybody else.
Because we had
Well,
that
except
one
for
question.
He and Ben were
Well-
supposed to be contemporaries,
Right.
but him compared to the others, he was supposed to be so much older.
Anybody see the guy who played Mr. Fantastic in anything?
Oh yeah, he was in Titanic.
Nah,
He
didn't see it.
was.
I'll tell you what, he really looked the part too, with the way that the hair was.
Oh
and
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
I mean,
He looked the part.
Yeah.
And he was also he's been in a lot of television stuff. He was Horatio Hornblower in the new Horatio Hornblower movies for
Okay.
A&E, and he was those are fantastic. If you like any kind of naval battle stuff,
Well, he is Mr. Fantastic.
I told you I use fantastic all the time today, but he was really good in those. So if you've never seen him, you like old naval battles and just that era stuff. Very well done. A&E, I believe they're also out on DVD. I would very highly recommend them.
Hey,
Cool.
we got an email with a Fantastic Four movie geek of the day.
Okay.
Hey, our telephone's ringing. Oh,
Professionalism right out the door.
joy. All right, this is from Matt McDonald from Durango, Colorado. We've heard from him before, and he says, "Yes, I really was struck by lightning." So it's that guy.
Zap.
He says, Geek of the Day entitled The Fantastic Four. No, wait, 5. No, 4. What the hell? I made the great decision to go see The Fantastic Four on opening weekend, Friday to be more specific. This is never a good idea. There was a line. There was a freaking line. I know lines are common in real cities, but I live in a tiny little tourist town in the middle of the Rocky Mountains. We don't have lines here. I get my ticket, get my seat. Okay, this is to all you parents out there. Never let the kid-adult ratio pass 2 to 1. You can't control them. If you are bringing 6 kids, ages 9 and under, don't sit in the middle. Choose the aisle. That way you don't have to take them all to the bathroom 3 times during the course of the film. You don't have to make half the row curl up into little balls to let you and the kids pass. These kids were some work, too. Each time they seemed to have forgotten that they had to walk up to their seats, and each one reached the steps they went up thinking this was where the bathrooms were. Each one of them did it, like they planned in advance. People don't understand how important these comic book movies are to comic fans, geeks. I nearly killed a man for making... he didn't receive it, he made it, a phone call during Batman Begins.
Oh.
But let's get... actually make a phone call.
That
is really
that
bad.
would kill me.
But let's get to the movie. The opening reminded me of the opening to the original Batman. You know how you spent like 10 minutes flying through the logo? It was just like that, except they took out half of it. The ooh, cool effect, half, as opposed to the what the fuck half? Okay, so the real movie begins. Wait, Dr. Doom is the CEO? Okay. Wait, why is Ben bald? I thought he had hair. Whatever. Well, because it's Michael Chiklis, man. He's bald. That's the way he is. So now the Cosmic Storm is responsible for human evolution, right? That's a new one. Wait, we can't see Doom's face. So... could he be disfigured already? What? He's handsome? I know he started out handsome, but he kind of lost that in college. And he already has a mask in his office. How does this work? And Sue is a genetic engineer? I've never seen her portrayed as having anything beyond slight above normal intelligence. Heck, wasn't she, like, trying to be a Hollywood starlet before the FF anyway?
Ultimates.
Yeah, if Sue is a geneticist, then Johnny is a pilot for NASA. Oh yeah, he was apparently. Well, at least he was a daredevil playboy. They got that part right. Now off to space. On a space station. Okay, I'll accept the station. The station is fine. Stupid, but fine. Why is Doom there? Shouldn't he be conquering Latveria by now? Okay, the storm comes a tad early. Why? We never know. Reed was wrong. Cool. Stupid sequence with trying to get Ben back into the station, which isn't shielded either, so what difference would it have made? We wake up as Ben and can't see what he looks like. Johnny's acting all weird. Hey, funny joke. I'll let that one go. See, I like that part.
I like that part.
I thought it was great. Like it was again, it was the true to the character of
You were
Ben
expecting
and
it, yeah.
Johnny
Mhm.
busting on each other constantly.
That's right.
So I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I told
It
you,
was wonderful.
It's so hard to
I
describe
told
to
you.
not use that adjective.
I thought it was wonderful.
All right.
Brilliant.
Reed tries to flirt with his new temples. What? Because we all know that gray temples are caused by evil space radiation. Johnny sneaks off with a nurse, turns into a huge fireball, and still manages to get the nurse naked, we assume. Ben gets a tummy ache and he turns into ye old rock bottom, and Doom has a thin scar so no one cares about him. But yes, scary how little bits of continuity makes me happy during the film. Ben goes home and his girlfriend, wife, bunkmate is scared, as she would expect when your man has turned into a giant rock. Then Ben tries to save a man from jumping and causes hundreds of thousands in property damage and endangers countless lives. But in the end, they save like 5 firemen and a little girl, so they're all heroes. And we get to see Sue in her underwear, so props to them. Oh, and by the way, a cop would never ever let a fireman put down his gun like that. Never. So they are all heroes. Reed tries to quarantine them, but Johnny breaks out and goes BMXing. Cool. And then he names the team, and the names do seem childish now, and it seems right that Johnny would do that. And Ben turns a car into a ball of metal. More quarantine. Reed tries to reverse the whole thing. Tensions are high, and where is Doom for all? Okay, this is really like describing the whole movie.
Rambling.
Sorry, Matt, but we're busting on your Geek of the Day. We're not supposed to. We're supposed to just do it interrupted, but I'm just
Not
trying
to be nitpicky, but proofread. Proofread.
I'm trying to find some spots that are either critical or cool.
Without doing the movie scene by scene.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you what, I forget how to pronounce her last name, but that Maria that played the nurse.
I don't know her.
She's a model, does a bunch of things, but oh man, that was a nice addition there. I was, Maria.
Okay, here
Mendoza?
I think the glass.
No, I don't know
Okay,
her
the
last
characters, as far as personality goes, I think they nailed the 4. Reed is the amazing rubber nerd, with all due respect. Sue is the voice of reason, although she seems to cause problems more than fix them. Johnny's a flaming pain in Ben's butt, and Ben is a kind-hearted man stuck in a monster's body. And I love how he kept having problems with utensils and cups. Doom didn't do it for me. He seemed too petty. Not the sorcerer, scientist, and dictator with plans to rule the world he should be. And his voice was just too Bond villain for this. It needed to be deep and foreboding, not evil corporate suit. And why does Stan Lee keep getting more lines in every movie? I appreciate that he makes cameos, but geez, you're a comic book creator, not an actor. But it's Stan Lee.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on,
that's great.
The guy needs that. As far as I'm concerned, he needs more lines.
He should have played Uncle Ben in Spider-Man for a while.
Yeah, the plot focused way too much on the origin, but they aren't. But they aren't the only ones. This problem has plagued comic book movies for years. This is how I would have opened the movie. Have Stan Lee narrate the opening. That would have panels that looked comic bookish and detail the origins of the Fantastic Four and Doom. The panels would turn into live action for a little more bang for your buck, or should I say $6. That way we all know how it happened and we can get to the story. Marvel stories have always been better when they weren't muddled with origins. Why do you think X-Men was so cool? Partially because no origin nonsense for their powers. I do have mixed feelings about this movie. Luckily I wasn't expecting Batman Begins, so I wasn't let down too much. It was cool, but it could have been better. With hopes for future movies, Matt McDonald.
Okay, well, thank you.
Well, yes.
Now,
Even though we nitpicked it, we do appreciate the
Oh, yeah.
the Geek of the Day. Absolutely.
But then, like, from the stuff that I have friends on different message boards, that's kind of what everyone was saying about it. Very similar to what he wrote. For all of us to like it, I was kind of surprised that we all did.
Well, you know, one of the things I kind of notice when I read the postings that people have, and this goes back even beyond our postings, but when Spider-Man came out, is a lot of people seem to, they look at Ultimates and they look at that's the way it should be. So a lot of people were picking apart Spider-Man, saying it doesn't coincide with the
With Ultimate
comics, but
Spider-Man.
then the stuff they're giving me, I know is from Ultimate Spider-Man. So I guess it depends on, I guess for the most part, we're with the original eras, I like to put it, the true stuff, and then to me, Ultimates is something completely different, which
Yeah.
you shouldn't confuse the two. And it irritates me when people do say the movies don't follow the comics when they're looking at Ultimates and not.
Because actually, this movie followed Ultimates a little more closely than did.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't quite. With Ultimates, they're more teenagers than they are adults, but it was. You are right. It did follow more of how they came to be in Ultimates.
As a side note, I just read the hardcover of Ultimate Fantastic Four this week. It's the first 12 issues, and I thought it was absolutely incredible. Like, just
Not fantastic.
I thought it was fantastic.
I've enjoyed it too. I've heard a lot of people that have really ripped it apart, and I didn't enjoy the Doom. Does that include the Doom story? I can't remember if
no.
Okay, that story is a little meh, but
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I'm sorry.
With him as the
leader of the little
commune,
camp. Yeah.
Yeah, that story was kind of eh. I liked the origin. I've liked what they've done with the negative zone a little bit with this in these later ones that I've just read. But no, I've enjoyed the Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Fantastic Four.
Well, let me ask. I saw a picture for, I guess, the handbook Ultimate Fantastic Four. Why does Doom almost look like I forget what his name was, but in the Lost in Space movie, the character Gary Oldman played.
Yeah.
And how when he got bit and then he kind of mutated. That's exactly what Doom reminded me of, with the cloak and like he has like the very thin legs.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, he's that was kind of his power type. He has the power over machines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Similar to the movie.
Yeah, similar to the movie.
Yeah.
He has more of a living organic armor.
Right.
I kind of thought after Ben came back to being normal Ben, I thought Reed would create a device to let him go back and forth at will.
I was almost hoping that too. I was almost hoping it would be one of those where he'd just get mad and all of a sudden it'd be like, and he'd be back to the thing, so they could do the back and forth.
Well, that was one hole I thought. Okay, so with Doom's help, can they get extra power, and he changes back, and then he goes in the machine without the extra power. Turns back into the thing.
Yeah,
well,
just changes the polarity
if
back.
all they need is extra power, I'm sure Reed can come up with some kind of generator thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if he can tap into the negative zone or whatever, he can just boost up the energy level, and then the thing would be back to because they didn't destroy the machine, they didn't erase Reed's memory of the plans for the machine. So all we have to do is, kick it up a notch, and then you got Ben Grimm is back.
You go back and forth at will.
Yeah, it does. That was kind of too easy for me, but
kind of Superman 2-ish.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I mean, if that's the only thing I can.
Permanent type of thing that they couldn't really. I mean, just from looking at it, should almost been where he thought he could replicate the storm, but he really couldn't. That by altering it, it wasn't stable. Because when Reed went in there and tried it, he seemed fine the next time. Like he's like melting.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
next time he saw it, was like, oh.
They didn't really explain that. I was kind of waiting for him to explain that. Was it? He went in and now it seemed he was more rubbery, that he couldn't control his shape, and I was wondering why, but oh well, I'm not going to nitpick that. I enjoyed it. I'm not saying it's the greatest movie. I wouldn't put it on my maybe into my top 10, but I don't know if I'd put it there, but it was well worth a matinee.
Better than
But
the original.
Better than what?
The original?
Oh my God, Jesus!
I'll tell you what, I was a little bit worried with how the CGI was going to work with Mr. Fantastic. I just from the.
Okay, we're back here. That was a little weird. I just installed the new version.
My microphone, please.
I can hear you.
Oh,
your
I don't
headset.
have
You mean
your,
headset?
Okay. Okay, I guess my mic is on.
Professionalism gone.
Right out the door. That's why we will never. That's all right. We were talking about The
me-
Incredibles.
me and Brian are
It's
okay.
back on?
Yeah.
Okay, well maybe mine's back on. Let me. So I hit the damn microphone. Jesus. Yes, now I can hear everything. Woohoo! Yay! Wow! I had to go to the bathroom. That's what the whole thing was. I had to go to the bathroom. But
No, I just installed GarageBand, the new version of GarageBand, and it stopped recording us at a half an hour instead of the normal hour and
Well, at least the,
hour
count,
and
it's
7
not
minutes.
time
the counter stopped.
Yeah, it was actually recording, but the counter stopped, and so we
So
didn't
we
know what
thought
the
it
hell
was-
was going on. It's all screwed up. Why would they do that?
That's
Apple,
stupid.
that's silly.
But
okay.
anyway.
It's not fantastic.
No,
All
there
right,
was-
so what the hell were we talking about? Does anybody even remember?
I think it was The Incredibles. We were just comparing
Oh,
it,
yeah.
and just the fact that I enjoyed that just a little bit more.
But that's
uh,
something
yeah,
I have to
still.
see. I still haven't seen
Really?
Incredibles. Yeah.
What the hell you doing?
I was off planet for that one or something.
See, you got kids too. That's
I know,
you can
I
Use
know.
the excuse of showing the kids this movie.
Yeah.
Have you never listened to the previous podcast? He doesn't spend time with the kids.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They're off. They're off with their mother.
Yeah.
What, it worked?
Hello, Carlene.
Yes, now that she posts, hello.
There was one thing that I liked was that the beginning of the movie was extremely accelerated.
Mhm.
Like they didn't fart around a whole lot.
Yeah.
Like oh,
like-
we're going to go up to space. Next thing you saw, the spaceship's docking at the space station.
Yep.
It's like, good, no launch, no nonsense, like, save time. It was chop, 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 chop,
Yep,
chop,
right up
all
to
of a
it.
sudden. And the accelerated cosmic rays was like, cool, it just meant it happened that much sooner, and we got the origin crap over with faster.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
that was almost real time. There was no like 7 hour. Okay, well now
Yes.
we're gonna skip time.
you know, going back to the Geek of the Day email, I think the first movie you got to spend a decent amount in the movie on the origins because there's going to be a lot of
non-comic people.
non-comic people.
Well,
that are like,
but-
well, what the hell? I don't.
I didn't think
I-
it hurt this one though.
I asked the question. No,
I mean, this one I didn't have a problem with, but according to the
well, I myself, I mean, maybe it's just because I've seen the origin so many times in the comics over and over and over again, but it also is suspenseful. You know, if you started the movie with 4 guys in costumes saving the day, you would be like, oh, what's this? How'd they get this way? And then you slowly work it in piecemeal over the course of 1 or 2 or 3 movies, how they got to be the way they are or whatever. You know, and we've said this before, like, we definitely think that you don't need an origin for a villain, because it ruins a villain to find out too much about how he became the villain.
It
It's
takes
more
away too much of the movie too.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just more menacing if it's all secretive and you don't know why they mean and why they're doing what they're doing and how they got their powers, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just better that way. And a lot of times in the comics, you don't know about the origin of the villain until much later on. Some guy comes in and all of a sudden he's beating up Spider-Man. You go, who the hell is this guy and why is he punching him? You know, or zapping him or whatever. the
Yeah,
hell
he's
doing.
just evil, and there you go.
Right, and that's all you need. So, you know, hopefully the next one will get down to business, and if they do have the Mole Man or somebody else, we don't need any origins. Please, whoever's listening.
I was half hoping that after what happened with Doom, that like not melted him, but where he was stuck there, that out of the ground you would just saw the Mole Man pop up, and then that would have just been the lead up to the next movie.
Yeah.
I was just thinking now that we have an African American Alicia Masters, Michael Clark Duncan could come in as the puppet master. For those who don't know,
Wesley
that the
Snipes.
puppet master is Alicia's father.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's he's bald, he's kind of weird looking. So, not that Michael Clark Duncan's weird looking. Please, God, if
He's listening.
and you're listening, please, I tell you, you're a big man.
He
I
will
don't
smash you like a puny
I
ant.
don't want to die. I love you. I do. I love all your work.
Green Mile, Green Mile.
You know
Yeah,
what?
you know what though? I loved him in Armageddon. Actually, I thought he was a riot in that movie.
The only part of Armageddon I remember is Steve Buscemi riding that thing,
Mhm.
riding that just at a little throwback to. I just completely forgot the name of the movie, the name of the director, everything about it, the guy who played him. You know what I'm talking about, Jamie. Help me out here.
Oh, with the
The
Dr.
riding the
Strangelove?
missile. Yes, Dr. Strangelove, Stanley Kubrick, and the name of the actor who
Slim Pickens.
Slim Pickens. Yes, thank
You don't remember the references where they were trying to figure out who was Han Solo, who was Chewbacca? Luke
No,
Skywalker?
I
Oh.
forgot. The movie was pretty awful, and I kind of blocked it out of
Really?
my memory. That was the only part I liked. Deep Impact was the better of the 2 asteroid movies.
Oh yeah. Deep Impact was much more.
It
believable.
dealt with the human side of things,
Yeah.
which was much more
I
interesting.
actually, and I wish they would do this in all, not just Marvel, but DC would be nice too. But I wish it would have been neat to see just faintly, like Spider-Man swinging in the background in the movie.
I often think that, too.
Well,
just-
it's the different studio crap.
Yeah, well, and
Yeah.
that's the
Because which studio did this one that we just saw?
20th century.
So that's X-Men. Is
yeah,
Fox?
X-Men's
Yeah.
20th century,
and
and Spider-Man
Spider-Man
Sony.
Sony.
yeah. So we could have had X-Men in there.
Yeah,
But it would, I mean, nothing fancy. Could or even just like Daily Bugle there with Menace, somewhere just to put that in
Right.
so that
I-
you
yeah.
believe everyone.
I agree.
I agree with you, and I'm hoping as they get more movies made, and now we have 2 big ones at the same company. Was Daredevil Fox too?
No, that was not Lionsgate. That's
Oh, it's
Punisher.
Punisher. I don't know, but
I
as
don't know.
as we get more movies from the same studio, I want the same thing. I want the continuity to be there.
And that was one of the things one of the many things I felt was wrong with Daredevil was Ben Urich works at the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
He doesn't work at
yeah.
whichever
Post.
one, the Post or the I guess it was the Post.
Yeah,
they
I
had
guess
him
the
work.
Daily Bugle though is owned by Sony now because
Yeah.
which is
It's
BS.
owned by Marvel, and Marvel should be able to license what they want to license.
Right.
It's just it's
Yeah,
it's not.
Avi, if you're
it's-
doing your job,
I
pal.
say it's not. They're not freaking gonna bring in J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson or anything like that. You just say he works at the Daily Bugle.
Right.
That's all you had to do.
Because if you think, how many heroes are in New York? I mean,
Oh,
you
just about
gotta.
every one of them.
I would,
Right.
I would be you're expecting to just see somebody in the background doing something.
Well, like,
New York isn't that
you
big
had-
that you're not going to run into any of them.
If you had the perfect world where you could have anybody in any movie, the perfect thing, because it would fit the character perfectly, as soon as they done saving everything on the bridge, Spider-Man would have swung up, landed on the girder, and go, "Oh, you guys got this? All right,
Yeah,
I'll see you later," and
exactly.
swing off.
Yeah.
And it would have been 10 seconds, and it would have been perfect because it would have been cocky Spider-Man attitude, and then it would have been gone, and we would have all gone, "Woohoo, Spider-Man!"
Yeah,
I
and
love
him
it."
and Johnny hang out.
just
they've
been like,
yeah.
"Hey guys, can I join?"
Yeah. Get out of here. Okay, sure. Nobody loves me. Something
Yeah.
like that.
I want to join the Fantastic Four.
Get Ghost Rider and Hulk and Wolverine.
But no, definitely go see it.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Yeah, definitely go see it.
for the $5 I spent on the matinee, it was well worth it.
I'll tell you what. In all honesty, there's worse movies, comic-wise, that have been released. If you liked Catwoman or even
Ooh,
Electra-
who out
Now you're
there?
hitting below the belt.
Yeah, please write if you like Catwoman.
Yeah,
because
Yeah, we'd
we
like to
wanna
know who you are.
you
Put
gotta
your
find
address.
that fan, that person.
Well, on honesty, I went to see it because I had a free ticket in Holly Berry.
I had a free ticket. I wouldn't go see it.
I had a free ticket too, and I didn't go see it.
Well, excuse me, but some of us like to
Not
see.
that there's
Holly
anything
Berry.
wrong with
Yeah,
that.
not that there's anything.
No,
wrong with
there's nothing wrong with
No,
Holly
but,
Berry. It's
no.
just
that. No, I mean,
it's like a do Catwoman, then do Catwoman. Just don't call her Catwoman. That's like, just
I-
stupid.
I can't really hold. I mean, it's not Spider-Man level or X-Men, but from the level of the other.
Definitely Daredevil
Marvel
level,
heroes.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Hulk, I would even say.
Oh,
Yeah.
better than the Hulk.
No,
Nah.
I'd put it on the same level as the Hulk. I really would. I mean, I went into it expecting nothing, and I came out enjoying what I saw.
I must say, I was really worried about what you would think, knowing that you're a Fantastic
Mhm.
Four and a really big Doom fan.
Yeah, those are my my trepidations,
Yeah.
what I found wrong with it. But,
I want to know, now that Jessica Alba has been half naked in Sin City and keeps getting undressed in FF, every movie she does, is she going to go topless or something soon?
we can only hope. Although I thought that was one of the stupidest scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, why did she have to get undressed to slip by those?
Because the
people?
other guys got
Yes,
through.
the other guys got through with no problem. Hey, let's put
I guess she was clearing the way.
I mean, they could have put her in her underwear somewhere else. They need the underwear scene.
The underwear in the
Reed
shower.
Yeah, when Reed is testing her or something like
Yeah.
that. But what was the point of her getting invisible there? That just didn't make any sense.
I
Did
w-
anyone
would
see
have
her
even
belly
liked-
button piercing?
I
Or
don't
did she
know.
cover that up when?
I don't know. I didn't notice it. I would have liked when she was running from the crowd. Even then, the underwear scene would have been better than going through the crowd on the bridge.
Mhm.
I never really found her overly attractive, but the more I see her,
Not
I
until
think she's
Sin
getting...
City and
Well,
and
this one I
this
was like,
one.
oh.
Yeah,
She's cute. I mean, if we're gonna go pure testosterone in the room right now,
yeah.
she is cute. I'll give her that.
Better blonde or as a brunette?
I don't
Blonde.
know. Kind of like her as a blonde.
Yeah, I like her as a blonde. I will say that.
One of my buddies was a big Dark Angel fan, and I was over at KB Toy Outlet, and I forgot they made them Dark Angel figures with a motorcycle, so I got him one, and he was jonesing over that a little bit.
Do you
He's
think,
not quite a geek or anything, but he did like that.
So you thought even that part was very well casted?
She did a lot better than I thought she would.
Yeah, I mean, I think there could have been better actresses, but I didn't have a problem with it.
No.
Did you believe the chemistry between her and...
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of nice. It was.
I loved when she was really bitter at him in the beginning. That was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were some good scenes in there.
I have to say, I think Johnny was the best cast for his personality,
Mhm.
but I thought everybody was cast very well.
Yeah. And unfortunately, no previews that I really
No.
Yeah, I was
No.
disappointed. No, at least a teaser trailer for Ghost Rider.
or something. The X-Men teaser trailer or something they should have put on there. But
It was Ice Age. What was the other one? The second one.
Something that's not even worth remembering.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was there a second one?
Oh, yeah.
because it was this big thing with the
Oh, it was
city.
the Driver. Driver 2.
Oh, Transporter.
Transporter.
Oh, that's
Transporter.
Transporter. That first Transporter kicked ass.
I don't even
I'm all
remember
excited.
a
I haven't
first
got a
one.
chance to see it, but I really enjoyed the actor that's in that.
I have the DVD if anybody wants to borrow
Yeah,
it.
I'll
It was
have to
great.
take a look at that.
It was totally unbelievable nonsense.
Mhm.
Like you would never, nothing in that movie could possibly happen because it was so over the wall action. but that's what it is. You just sit back, you relax, and you look at wicked explosions and crazy car stunts,
Yeah.
and you just go, "That was cool."
That's
and
what this one looks like,
Yes,
and I'm
exactly.
like, oh, this is going to be
Now,
so much fun to look.
He was in the Italian Job, right? He was one guy in the
Yeah,
Italian Job.
and he was in the two Guy Ritchie movies, Lock, Stock, and Two
Oh, yeah,
Smoking
okay.
Barrels. That's where I first
and,
recognized him from.
What's the second one?
Snatch.
Snatch, which
Yeah.
I love. That movie is fantastic.
Are they still doing?
4.
I know you're getting ready for something, but are they still doing the Iron Man? Is that supposed to
I
be?
think
a
it's
movie?
still going forward, but
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's been named to play him yet. or
Yeah,
anything like
no.
that.
The one I've stopped hearing about is the Iron Fist.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't heard
Yep.
anything about that. One.
You know,
Back-
Ray Park like 2 years ago.
It was the first year
Said-
Wizard World.
Yeah, he said it was
coming
like,
back
"Oh,
on
I'm
it.
doing it," which is it's cool. I like Iron Fist, and I'd be very interested to see what he would do with it. But now there's been nothing.
Yeah.
Does that bother
Mr.
you?
Fusion, what's going on? Let us know.
Yeah.
Does that bother you that when actors and actresses are in like for instance Rebecca Ramon Stamos? I know it irritate. I don't think she's that bad, but it irritated me that she's in X-Men and in the Punisher. Now, chances are she won't be in the sequel for Punisher.
Well, with
but,
their stupid makeup job in X-Men, you don't even know who it is.
You
Yeah.
can
But-
barely tell. Yeah.
I mean, that's like
Dumbasses.
Wesley Snipes. I thought he would make a good Black Panther, but
I don't
now
have any
Seaman-
problem with that. I'm not that kind of person.
No.
Well, again,
me
though, it would bother me if any movie studio could use any character they wanted, because then you would run into the problem where you can't have
Black
Mystique
Panther
ever
and,
in Punisher, because
Yeah.
then it's
Yeah.
and actually Mystique is a character who might actually show up in Punisher, since she's the whole spy thing going on now,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, we'll never see. Not that we never see it anyway, because it's the movie studios, but it's a little distracting because you want to associate a person. Like, I'm the kind of person, when I see somebody in a movie once, they are eternally that character to me. Like, in those movies anyway, within that universe. I read, even if I'm reading a novel, I picture the person in the movie
Mhm.
because that's who they are.
Yeah,
So
I
now if
usually
you
do
have
that.
them in the same universe as two different characters, it's like, well, which one do I picture now?
Mind
Because now I'm a
overload.
little thrown off.
so you're not expecting the Blade Black Panther team up movie.
Yeah, no. When they go through Wakanda killing all the vampires, yeah, I don't see that.
I have to say that Mystique's makeup for X-Men, I don't know what's wrong with the good old-fashioned classic costume.
Well, it's so ridiculous because you take a supermodel, okay, who's arguably an actress, take a supermodel,
Notice she hasn't said too many lines.
and the idea of casting a supermodel is because she's hot.
And you can see her.
And what do? You cover up every bit of her in something that you can't tell. I mean, there are girls at the mall who you could paint blue and they'd look just the same. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the point? Yes, Mystique is blue, but she doesn't have scales and crap.
Yeah.
She wears a nice short mini skirt and that looks hot or whatever, or tight pants.
She makes herself a costume. That's the whole thing. She could
Right.
she could morph herself a costume.
Yes. So that just
I was thoroughly disappointed in that.
And plus it takes away from the character too.
Mhm.
Like if you can find yourself falling in love or getting attracted to this evil villainess, well, now you're not sure which side you're supposed to be on. But some scaly woman, I don't
Yeah.
care if she's got nice boobs. I mean, she's all scaly. What?
And a nice ass.
Yeah, well, whatever. But like, I'm not falling for that. I mean, come on, cut yourself on that shit. What the heck?
That is a good point.
Give me a kiss. Ah,
I got a mid-shaft cut.
Oh,
Jamie, in the absence of Peter, you're on the spot for some FF trivia.
okay, I'll try.
Dump the D'Alessandro. I think I just finished reading up one of the Byrne Visionary Fantastic Four trades, so you get stuck with a lot of those questions.
That's fine with me. That's the best.
Well, that's what I figured. I'll be kind of nice, but for the audience who may not be big FF people, All right. Who trapped the FF in the negative zone?
Which time?
Well, during the Byrne run.
During the Burn run?
Yes.
Ooh, Lord. Wow. I'm going to go with Annihilus.
That is correct.
It's always either him or somebody else.
All right. Question number 2. In that same negative zone saga, which Avenger was critically wounded?
Wow. This one which Avenger was critically wounded? Gotta think of the Avengers that Byrne loved to put in there.
It actually crossed over with an issue of Avengers that Byrne also wrote and drew. See, now, we were talking about continuity.
That's
in the past
continuity.
episode. Yeah, when they say, I want to use the Avengers, okay, well, you draw and write and draw this issue of Avengers, even though you're doing Fantastic Four, because it's all you, baby.
Yeah.
It's your story, you do it. No, that's
And at that point, he was drawing Fantastic Four. He was drawing another book. He was drawing Alpha Flight at that time, and oh Lord, I have no idea.
that would be
cannot
The
remember.
Vision.
Okay.
Yes, they Annihilus put this giant shield around the Baxter building and like a couple blocks surrounding the Baxter building, and so the Avengers were trying to penetrate the shield, and the Vision phased through it, but then on the inside, like it killed all machinery, all
Okay.
electronics, and
All
then
right.
his
Yep.
body just crumpled to the ground, and Reed was working to save him after they got back out.
Okay.
And which villains did the Fantastic Four turn into cows?
That would have been the Skrulls.
That was good.
Oh,
Very
that's
good.
funny.
That's from the very there were Skrulls on Earth, and at that point they were able to turn into whatever they wanted. They could just morph into whatever, and he took them and he basically hypnotized them into thinking they were cows.
Yes.
And just put them off. And then actually they went back and did something with that, where they had those cows got slaughtered and were eaten, and the people who ate them actually gained powers. It was like the super.
Well, what they
Skrull
did was
crew.
their milk. They had their milk.
Okay, it was
Gave
milk?
everybody in the town had to drink this milk, and then they all got
Oh, that's funny.
infected with this scroll stuff.
Is that where mad cow disease comes from?
I think so.
Could
yes,
be.
as the origin. Yeah.
That's not
Alien
funny.
DNA.
We thought it was the British, but apparently it was the Skrulls.
Damn British. But
Just
not
kidding,
too-
Eggers. And
Yeah.
2 out of 3. Not bad.
no, not bad at all.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't get the Avengers one, since it was your favorite
Yeah,
book, Avengers.
I didn't. I was trying to put it where I was just trying to
Well,
remember.
the scene that's really moving in that issue is okay. So they get out of the negative zone, and Reed puts Vision up on a table, and he starts trying to figure out what's wrong with Vision and trying to help him. And then Sue realizes that their son has been wounded. Annihilus hurt their son as well.
Mhm.
So now she comes in carrying the kid, Franklin, and yells, Reed, Franklin is hurt, So now they have to rush Franklin off to the hospital. So they run out, and Scarlet Witch is standing there at Vision. But what about Vision? And everyone's gone, because they're all worried about Franklin. So that was like, it's very emotional right there.
I'm tearing up now.
Yeah.
Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing if they do a sequel, and they want to include Franklin. Just bring him in. Don't make her pregnant.
Yeah.
Don't show me the birth. Just say we had a kid. We got married. We had a kid. 2 years later, 4 years later, however old they want to make the kid, and they can go with that. They don't have to even put that in the the
I
movie.
gotta tell you, if they do that, isn't that around the same time where Sue went a little bad and she had that new skimpy outfit?
No, that was like the second time.
No,
They had Franklin, and then she got pregnant again, and she actually eventually lost that baby, and then she kind of went cuckoo, and had the Malice. That was her pseudonym, and she had kind of went all leather and goth on you.
Is that when
Naughty.
she became Invisible Woman?
Yeah, Byrne was responsible for a lot of that. Byrne gave her a new haircut. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but in continuity and in comics, that is a lot. Matured her, gave her more powers that she uses now. Actually, really made her a much stronger character. Made her almost the strongest character in the Fantastic Four. Took her from one of the weaker characters to, man, she can. That was the whole thing. I was waiting for her to be able to project her force bubble into Doom and just like blow him apart. And she's done stuff like that. She's now gone from, like I said, a very weak character to almost the strongest character in the Fantastic Four. So
Cool.
Yeah, Burn Run sounds good.
yeah, definitely.
It is. It's very good.
Fantastic Four Visionaries, John Byrne, and I just actually picked up the in my latest books. I got the George Perez. Okay, there, money into the jar. Visionaries, and I had actually forgotten how much of his stuff I really enjoyed. He did a run in like the 180s, right before number 200, which actually, if you haven't read 200, it's one of the best comics. One of my all-time favorite comics is Fantastic Four 200. But I forgot how much good stuff he did too.
Well,
Yeah, I was going to say, currently there are 4 Byrne Visionaries out, and there's a 5th one that's supposed
Wow.
to be solicited like in December or so.
Yeah.
So,
Jeez.
well, I just want to ask, is that still around that? No, wasn't there a time where Reed and Doom were fighting, and that they thought they were both dead, and then Doom come back first, and then Reed came back with a beard?
Yeah, I think Reed came back first, and then Doom
Oh.
came back. But yeah, there was a time I wasn't reading Fantastic Four at that time, but there was a time when they fought, and it looked like they both had exploded, blown up. Something had happened, and then I think now. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Give me email us, let us know. But I think Reed came back first, and then Doom came back, and there was a whole time where there's a little girl. They have a little girl, Valeria, and I don't know how that, Doom thought she was his daughter, and so on and so forth. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that I would need to catch up on with.
it's that Mark Waid run, right?
It was in the Wade run, but it was actually even before that. It was just the Fantastic Four weren't what I remembered, so I just kind of gave up on.
I didn't like the Mark Waid run. I'm not sure if it was the stories or the art or a combination, but I started reading it and then I nixed that. And
Oh, the stuff he, pardon me, the stuff he did, just it has such ramifications with like Reed taking over. And this is a spoiler show, so I can do it. Reed taking over Latveria, basically booting Doom out again, and him taking over the sovereignty of it, and Shield actually having to take him down. The government, confiscating all of their patents and all their money. And it's Straczynski is now even worse. Like I had said before, Straczynski in a former podcast, in a previous podcast, Straczynski is working some of that stuff in. He's not just forgetting it, chucking it out the window. He's dealing with it, and I think he's doing a pretty good job so far.
And the Thing had died a couple years ago, but he came back.
Oh Lord, he's died and come back and gone away and come back and
changed
he could
around,
change.
come back.
Because
Because he mutated too. Didn't he have spikes at one time?
Yeah, they've had him mutate. They've had him come back. They've had it. They had it for a while there where he could change. During Secret Wars, he stayed on the planet for Secret Wars because he tried to figure out why he could change on that planet. He could change back to Ben Grimm, and he comes back, and then Reed tells him, "Oh, you could have changed all along. I just had to let you figure it out."
Thanks,
and
buddy.
That's when he quit the Fantastic Four for a while and went out on his own, and he's come back. So it's they've done everything.
It's a
they can
sordid
to him.
history.
Yeah, I mean, to follow his continuity is almost as bad as trying to follow X-Men continuity. So. Jean Grey, is she alive? She dead? She alive? She dead?
My wife's either dead, alive, bad. I forget how that cartoon goes, but
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
that one Phoenix where it was a little animation thing where Cyclops was saying, "My wife is either
that
on
thing
the
on the
line.
line.
yeah,
That X-Men Death Becomes
insane, dead, or total power."
Oh.
So
Well, anybody else got anything exciting to say about the movie other than we liked it?
No. Just go see it.
yeah.
Definitely go see
I
it.
think you just the bottom line is you just sit back and relax and enjoy it for a movie with cool comic book action. I mean, it doesn't.
And good characterization, good interaction between them. I mean,
I was when the first wave of comic movies started, I was more critical than I am now because I was expecting word for word adaptations from the comics, and now I saw how beautifully it worked for Sin City, so I still am convinced that you can do it if you really want to.
Sure.
But Hollywood, by and large, is not going to do that.
No.
So I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to relax. And in this movie especially, there was nothing so glaring that
No.
made me angry.
no.
No.
Mm-mm.
Well, it's the same thing with books. When they turn them into movies,
Oh,
they
sure.
they lose stuff in them too, and it's basically whether they can capture the essence of what they're trying to get at or not. And
Yeah.
I think it did.
Yeah, definitely. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
there was, for me, Lost World, Michael Crichton's Lost World, right?
Mhm.
The sequel to Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park, they took bits and pieces, put it here and there, and hell, they took pieces out of Jurassic Park, the movie, the book, and put in Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah. Yep.
But Lost World read like a movie. I mean,
Crichton basically wrote it so that Spielberg had a movie to direct.
And then he didn't even direct that movie.
No,
that was what
totally
It
different.
was like, Jesus Christ, just direct the goddamn book. And sorry about the swearing, but so I mean, I learned long ago watching MST3K. In their theme song, they say, when you sit down and think about how they eat and breathe and other science facts, then repeat yourself. It's just a show. I should really just relax.
Yes.
That's what when you go to see this movie, just repeat to yourself, it's just a movie, and relax, because you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, I just have one quick question. Would be one of the things I liked what Sam Raimi did with the Spider-Man movies is there's certain scenes that are taken right out of the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything in the Fantastic Four that's like a scene or a panel or two that's right out of the comic? I mean, you have the classic lines, flame on, clobber in time, but
I think Johnny teasing Ben.
Yeah,
I think that's taken right out of the
that.
comics.
You had Ben in the big overcoat and
Yeah,
and
that
hat.
was great. That was great.
Perfect.
Yancey Street, Willie Lumpkin, and just here and there. But there really wasn't anything I can think of that they pulled directly out of a panel out of a book. But it was still good. Still good.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Well, enjoy the movie. And,
Yeah, let us know what you think.
We will see you. You will hear this episode before we go to San Diego, and it looks like we are going to be having daily podcasts after each night from San Diego.
We are.
Little wrap up. So
nice.
yeah, there might not be hour-long marathon ones,
Okay.
but we might give them at least 15, 20 minutes each night to say what was cool about that day.
it
at
was
the show.
cool today. See you tomorrow.
Yes.
We're here, you're not.
That's right.
Peter, Shane, and Matt. Na.
Did you see that ultra super special unknown writer that they brought here? They weren't going to tell anybody. Yeah, it was cool. See you tomorrow.
We had dinner with so and so.
Yeah, exactly. We had dinner with Dan DiDio and Joe Q all at
That
the
was
same
great.
time.
That was great.
We got them together at a table and
That's
talked.
right. They
We're working on a project.
They gave each other hugs.
When Brian, Jamie, and Tasha were seeing Batman Begins, me, Peter, and Jamie Verth too went to dinner at the Irish pub in Philly, and Peter got the brilliant idea to leave a voicemail for Brian. Yeah, we got most of the DC guys are here at the Irish pub having dinner. We're hanging out with Dan DiDio buying beer and stuff.
Yeah, but then he went too far.
Yeah, then he went too far. If he would have ended it, it would have been good, but he kept going.
Because Ryan gives me his phone and goes, listen to this, and I listen to it and I'm like, those sons of bitches. And then he just went too far. I was like, he's lying.
Yeah, because he said something about Louise Simonson
Walt Simonson's here.
topless or something.
And this was when you guys were back and on the way home. So I mean, it wasn't. We left it during the movie, but it was meant after you guys were back. Like he wouldn't have checked it or something. Yeah, he just went a little too far.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, we'll see you next time.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya.